Hi guys, this is gsnom.com and I'm here with a review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. So this is the latest foldable from Samsung and it closes down like this. It was unveiled on February 11th with the Galaxy S20 series, and we're dealing here with a clamshell phone that's supposed to rival the Moto Razr 2019. It also inaugurates two things. You can use it open at 90 degrees, and also it has the ultra thin glass protection. Now the price tag should be around $1,400, and aside from this black version there is also a beautiful purple one, a gold one, and a special fashionable tone brown one. Okay, so let's delve into the review of the latest Samsung Galaxy Z Flip handset. So design wise, the device can be used like this in a clamshell closed format with a thickness of 15.4 millimeters. It has a brand new hinge and I find it superior compared to the Galaxy Fold. When opened up, it measures a mere 6.9 millimeters in thickness and weighs 183 grams. Now I have to admit that compared to the renders, the edges are much bigger than expected. I'm talking about the edges around the screen. But that's for a good reason. The actual frame of the device is made sturdier in order to hold the screen properly. It's a 6.7-inch screen that we got here, which folds exactly down the middle and creates a crease which is very visible on a white background. You can also feel it. You can feel the deeper portion here, and once again on a white background you'll definitely going to see it. Okay, now you can see here the hinge mechanism. It's sturdier and better done than the Galaxy Fold and has special nylon fibers to clean out the debris. Make no mistake, this is not a waterproof phone or a dustproof phone. You also have an external screen, and here we have glass on the external surface, glass as well, and the hinge is a combo of plastic parts and aluminum parts, and the frame itself is made of aluminum. Now, in the screen department, things get a bit dicey. So we have the Dynamic AMOLED 6.7-inch screen with 2636 to 1080p pixel resolution, and on top of that Dynamic AMOLED, we also have something else. We have the UTG solution, is the ultra thin glass protection, which in turn it's covered by a special plastic protection. So you may be able to scratch the screen with your fingernails if you press harder, or coins or keys. Take that into account. Now, aside from the main screen, you see here the 6.7-incher, which supports HDR10+. We also have the external screen, the 1.1-inch Super AMOLED with a resolution of 300 pixels over 112 pixels. It's good to show notifications, and you can see those missed here, and also the time. And also good as a viewfinder for the camera. Okay, so we're in the screen department, and you figure out already that we're using the secondary screen for notifications, and when you tap one of them, you can have it opened up on the main screen. But what's the experience like on this main screen? Well, to answer that, I'm going to resort to good old YouTube and watch a test video like we usually do. So we have the 4K HDR test video, which is something I always like to use during our tests. Got this one here. Now, be advised, I should probably mention something. So if you're going to use this, use it in let's see, 1080p, 60 frames per second in HDR. It's all fun and games, but you'll have to definitely zoom in to fill the screen like this. And when you do that in Netflix and YouTube, you may cut off some people's heads. Otherwise, you end up with black bars. Now, the screen itself is obviously a quality one. It's bright, it's crisp, it has excellent colors, deep blacks, and the contrast wasn't half bad in this weirdly powerful February sun. So there's that. Keep in mind the notch here, the punch hole, is also a bit distracting on lighter backgrounds. And don't forget that pinching may cause you to cut off some people's heads. Then we go here and we get to the display options, which are rather generous. You can set it to light or dark. Okay, we have dark mode settings. We got the brightness, two brightnesses for two screens, adaptive brightness, blue light filter, and the screen modes, vivid, natural, white balance slider, and the RGB sliders. All in all, I'm happy with the screen that's on offer here. I'm not very sure about the whole protection thing, so only time will tell how resilient the screen actually is to scratches, the involuntary scratches, and Samsung must tell us how much it costs to replace the UTG if need be. Now, inside the phone, we find a familiar face, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 Plus processor. It's an octa-core 7nm CPU accompanied by 8GB of RAM and 256GB of UFS 3.0 storage. No microSD, and luckily also no trace of lag. All the games ran pretty fluidly. I only played Asphalt 9 here, but I've seen on other units Call of Duty Mobile and PUBG Mobile being played hassle-free, with the graphics on high, no less. Okay, so we also did a bunch of benchmarks. I will not insist on them too much because we have pre-production sample here, a test sample, so the performance of the final version may be higher. Now, as you can see here, this is the score we achieved in Antutu 8. It beats the Samsung Galaxy Fold and Huawei Mate 30 Pro, scores below the iPhone 11. We also did the famous Geekbench 5. These are the scores. In the multi-core one, we beat the ZTE Nubia Red Magic 3S gaming phone and Galaxy S10 5G, score below the Xperia 5 and the Galaxy Fold. It's all fun and games till you go to the actual fun and games, the GPU benchmark here. It's a pretty decent score, this one. It beats Galaxy Note 10 Plus and the iPhone 11, scores below the Asus ROG Phone 2. So in general, it could fit between the performance of let's say Note 10 and iPhone 11. That's where it fits performance-wise, and there was zero overheating here, even after the instance of running an intensive benchmark and following it with a fast charge of the battery. Speaking of which, on paper this sounds pretty scary. We only have a 3300 mAh battery inside, composed of two parts. It also has a 15-watt fast charging, wireless charging, and even reverse charging. Okay, now I didn't get to do the usual tests that we do. I did an actual usage test. I only had the phone to test for 48 hours, and during those 48 hours, I had to charge it about 2.5 times. So, if you're a power user like me, you start at 8 AM and at about 6 PM, you feel the need to juice up the phone. That's something to remember here. So, not the best globetrotter in the world. Should get the job done. Only at work, if you're going towards the home, you may feel some mileage anxiety. Other than that, the charging was done in about 1 hour and 40 minutes. So that's it battery wise. Now we go to the acoustics. Things are rather simple. We have a singular speaker here. We do not have stereo speakers, which may be a bit of a bummer for some people. And if you want to play some music, well, let's see what we got here. Okay, so we go to Google Play Music. You also have the equalizer here with Dolby Atmos, genre settings, UHQ upscaler and all that. And here we go. Pretty powerful sound, satisfying bass. It's pretty loud, actually very loud. Sometimes it will feel a bit distorted at top volume. That's only my impression, especially in the games. Overall, satisfying experience, pretty high notes, bass, voices. It fits the whole range of sound into your ears. Too bad there's no stereophony here, and we also don't have an audio jack, probably because of the slim profile. You get a bunch of AKG tuned headphones bundled. You saw them in the unboxing, and they sound pretty great. Pretty much the same you got last year with the Note 10 and S10. Okay, we're done with the acoustics, and let's go to the camera. Now, at the front side here, we have a punch hole selfie camera, which is a 10 megapixel shooter, and at the back side, we have two cameras. Have an LED flash next to them. These are two 12 megapixel shooters, regular one and ultra wide one, so the experience will feel a bit closer to the Galaxy S10, well, S10e, while liking a telephoto camera. So two 12 megapixel shooters and a 10 megapixel shooter here, and the core of the experience is actually the way you can fold the phone on 90 degrees. Okay, so we got our little elephant friend here, and if you go into the camera interface, you'll notice some novelties like the single take feature, which is also available on the Galaxy S20. Basically, it takes a series of photos and videos, and the AI picks the best ones for you. There's photo, you can choose between the two cameras, ultra wide and regular one, and also you got your video, 4K 60 frames per second for the front and back camera, and the more section, which includes pro, panorama, food, night, live focus video, and super slow motion. So I was mentioning something interesting here. If you fold the phone at 90 degrees, the interface will split in two. Here you have the options, and here you have the viewfinder, and you can actually put it like this and use it as sort of a tripod, so you can take pictures of you while you're sightseeing or huddled up with your friends to take a group shot. There's another interesting feature. If the phone is closed like this and you double press the power button, guess what? The viewfinder comes to life, and I'm seeing myself here, and I can take a picture actually, either by pressing a volume button or by holding my hand like this. I just took a picture simply by holding my hand like that. So how cool is that feature? And it can also be activated from here, from the menu. There's a special button here, a virtual one, at the top right corner, cover screen preview, which gives you, well, a part of what you need to take your shot, even though it cuts a bit of the image, and well, it's better than nothing. It's actually more important than you think, this feature, because I was underwhelmed a lot by the selfie camera. So you should better take pictures by using the back camera. Remember that. Remember what I just said. So underwhelming pictures with the front camera. It may be 10 megapixels, but for some reason Samsung only offers us 6 megapixel shots. You heard it right. This is probably the first review where you hear that. You can take 6.5 megapixel shots for some reason. That's the maximum resolution achieved here, and they're underwhelming. They're about on par with the Galaxy A50, if not inferior. Now, going back to the main camera, I'm actually happy with the results achieved here. The quality is somewhere between Galaxy S10 and Galaxy Note 10. The colors are actually better than Galaxy S10, and we're not exactly at the top level of the Galaxy Note 10. So excellent color, pretty decent details for 12 megapixel shots. The ultra wide shots don't deform the colors too much. Good clarity, good texture, pretty good close-ups of objects. As you can see here, lovely blues and reds. So everything checks out for the main pair of cameras. About on par with the Galaxy S10, or maybe above it, courtesy of the colors. Of course, lacking zoom, you'll be totally underwhelmed by the digital zoom capabilities of a phone. Other than that, I stick to my guns, S10 and Note 10 between them. We didn't take low light shots, no time for that. We did take some bokeh shots with background effects. I would put this on par with the iPhone 11, not exactly close to the Huawei Mate 30 Pro, which does a better job at cutting the subject from the background. Now, on the video side of things, I'll be quick. If you shoot in 4K at 60 frames per second, you'll be happy with the results. Full HD gives you overexposure and a lack of details, so there's that. Now, here you're going to see what I think is a, stabilization test. Here we go, which is pretty cool, to be honest. Pretty solid microphone. Okay, so this is the regular stabilization test. And then I actually felt the need to kick it up a notch. So I activated the Super Steady, and guess what? It got even better. Oh, excuse me, this is actually the autofocus test, which, to be honest, was a bit underwhelming. And then we go to the actual Super Steady stabilization test. This is the one. So the same scenery once again, only this time Super Steady is on, and it feels like you're using a special gimbal. Pretty nice. I remember being underwhelmed by the last year's Super Steady of the S10. Things have been solved for sure. Now, of course, it takes wonderfully colored shots when it comes to the video capture. We have some of them here. If you stick to 4K and 60 frames per second, there's no reason to film in Full HD, so remember that. Okay, excellent clarity here. Stretching up the video a bit. So that's that. Okay, we also have super slow-mo, and I play with it. We also play with single take. Single take has a tendency to apply filters and overexpose at times, but at least you can choose what you keep, so you'll keep the best results. All in all, the camera is once again between the Galaxy S10 and Note 10, and try maybe avoid using the selfie camera. For some reason, 6 megapixels, not enough. You also have AR doodle and AR emoji. Okay, we're done with that, and I think it's time to show you our website, and at the same time also talk about the connectivity. So on the connectivity front, the phone is a peculiar one. It has a nano SIM card slot and an eSIM. It's got 4G LTE category 16. It's got Wi-Fi A, B, G, and AC, Bluetooth 5.0, NFC, ANT+, GPS, Galileo, GLONASS, and Beidou. The USB-C is here. I did the speed test at some point, and the result is like this. 100 plus megapensecond in download, 100 plus megapensecond in upload, to pretty good ping. So that's it. On the software front, there's not much to say. I'm sure you've seen by now Android 10 and One UI 2.0, however, not in this form factor. There is some novelty. This area is no longer exactly Bixby, it's Samsung Daily apparently, still an aggregator of things. Bixby is still present by keeping pressed here, and then you can say your query. It actually understood what I said and has a bunch of other commands. Now there is a side window here. You think it was the usual edge. It's actually not. It's a special aid with multitasking, so you can split the screen into two perfectly equal squares which aid you with your multitasking needs. Okay, there's also a special flex mode which you just saw in the camera and also applies to YouTube. Other than that, well, here you can see the widgets. Okay, and here we can see some of the new options. For example, we have the link to Windows from the Galaxy Note 10. We have the new music share and also the new quick share, which Samsung announced the Galaxy S20. We have the Bixby routines, which is basically a preset series of functions and features that activate at a certain time during the day. We have the dark mode, we have the kids home, Dolby Atmos, but you knew those already. Extra features and options here. The core of the experience is largely unchanged from what you knew before, only with about, let's say, 3 or 4 features added to the device. Multitasking can also happen like this. And there's the whole 2 square thing I kept mentioning before. Okay, so you saw the edge screen, you saw that. I think it's time to do some gaming and talk about apps. Okay, so we're getting closer to the verdict, and I'm playing some Asphalt 9 here. I promised to show you how gaming is like on this screen. I would say it's pretty crisp and satisfying. It's a rather long screen, as you can well tell from this, so consuming video should be nice, unless it's, well, stretched or cutting people's heads. At least the gaming checks out, and I had to actually use a special option that fits the whole screen rather than the auto one, which leaves a black bar here for the punch hole camera. Well, other apps installed include YouTube Music, there's Netflix here pre-installed, the Galaxy Store, SmartThings, Samsung Health, and all that, plus the Windows Suite, Microsoft Suite, you know, LinkedIn, Spotify, LinkedIn, OneDrive, and so forth. We have a Notes app, we have Spotify, and you even have those cool editing options that we had on the Galaxy Note 10. And I'm talking about this one. So you go to a video, and let's say you want to do editing, maybe not this video, this one. So you press here and you got all the cool options from the Note 10 to do the edit. Other than that, there's another cool feature which I probably mentioned already. So you have a notification on the small screen. Go here and open phone for notification details. Now you should be able to see the info from that notification. So that's pretty cool. That's it in a nutshell. That's all I had to say about the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. Now a bunch of conclusions. On the Pro side, I would have to say that it's superior to the Motorola Razr as a whole experience, and how comfy it is. An excellently easy to use power button and embedded fingerprint scanner. It's wider than the Moto Razr, so you gain some estate here. A solid screen when it comes to the brightness and the color and the day-to-day use. I would say that the performance is quite good. Daytime photos are solid, not the selfies. It's a comfy format, more comfy than I expected. It should be familiar for the ladies because it resembles a makeup kit. And the purple version is truly appealing color-wise. The acoustics were fine, even with a single speaker. I like this second screen here. It's actually put to good use as a viewfinder. I love the split screen feature. Hopefully we'll get extra apps associated to it, the whole flex mode. And well, the hinge design is a true evolution compared to other foldables I've seen. It's truly something magnificent. Those are the pros. On the cons, it's pricey. The selfie camera is pretty poor, to be honest. There's no micro SD, there's no stereo speakers. There's a plastic screen protection, which, well, you may leave some, you know, fingernails prints on it. The phone draws a lot of fingerprints. It's got last generation camera sensors. It's also a bit slippery and the edges are quite big. Then the crease is rather visible on a white background, and you can also feel it with your hand. And I have to say this, the secondary screen is too small. If it were, well, double the size, it would have been perfect as a viewfinder. In the end, this is definitely a feminine phone. The girls will love it in purple. It's got an improved hinge, something to look forward to the future. And not very sure how Samsung will handle the replacement of the plastic foil on top and the UTG below it. Not sure about the price, but there's a silver lining that UTG actually protects you from breaking the screen straight. So you don't break the screen immediately, you break something else before getting to it. So that's fine, I guess. Another strong point would be the quality of the videos I shot. Solid 4K 60 frames per second videos, excellent 90-degree use. I love that in the camera area and the adaptive apps. And well, that's about it. A phone for the ladies, beautiful in purple, more versatile than the Moto Razr. It's better spec'd and does more things, but still pretty pricey at $1,400. Beware of the whole selfie camera thing. We may have a test unit, so don't take it for granted with the 6 megapixel thing. This is from jason.com. Bye bye.